I am equally intrigued and terrified. How you do, folks? It's Rusty here. I'm down at the warehouse. In today's video, there are so many cool things in this one. We've got swords, golf clubs, antique photography equipment, old dolls, all kinds of cool stuff. Stick around. We got some really cool things to go through. And if you're not interested in one of these subjects, just wait around for a couple minutes and we'll be right into the next. Should we? I think we should. You can see I have a variety of these little dolls up here. And as you turn them up, their eyes open up. If you turn them down, oh, they go to a little sleepy time. They're on these little, you can see Kaiser, Chicago. You can see, I think that was the price of the stand itself. But you got these little dolls. And back here, you got these little tags. And they say, Madame Alexander, New York, USA. This is Gretel. Sometimes it's a name of a person. Sometimes it's a name of a place. For example, I think this one. Yeah. She's got her little cameo brooch on there. Open up those eyes, sweetheart. There you go. Well, she's not operating the way she should, but this one, if we pull back right here and we take a look, you can see some discoloration splotches. It's not been stored very well. It's been stored in the thing for a long time. This is United States. So she's supposed to represent United States. Interesting. In my research, I found that generally speaking, these sissy dolls, these Madame Alexander and Alexander Ken's dolls, the larger ones, the 21-inch or 22-inch, 24-inch, some of these larger dolls bring in more money. And no joke, some of them bring in thousands of dollars. So you should keep an eye out for these, the ones that say Alexander on them. The ones from like the late 40s and 1950s tend to do the best. Here she is, folks. She's right here. You can see, if you look real close here, she's got teeth kind of up inside of the mouth like that. It's really kind of fascinating. Her head is attached by this metal hook on there. Kind of holds it down. Her hair almost feels, it's kind of fuzzy. But the way that they have it makes it really look like real hair. It's quite interesting. The body, so the dress is definitely discolored and old, very old. The arms, you can see she's missing her finger here, and that puppy fell off, unfortunately, just as I was trying to get it out of the bin. So I'm going to have to go through and glue it back on. But again, kind of this joint here, you got this cord on there, and then this is sewn on into the dress. Come down here, you can see just sort of just a mannequin, kind of the skin color tone kind of painted on here, and it really is paint on whatever this material is. And then you've got these little boots here, very old, with these little old buttons. Very, very cool. I don't know where she's from, how old she is. If one of you out there knows, I'd love to know. I'm going to do some more research. I've tried Google Lens. I find similar ones, but not exactly the right thing. But I'm going to research as much as I can, try to get her up for sale soon. All right, folks, I got an update for you. From a previous video, you'll know that I got this pocket watch in a variety of pieces of really nice jewelry. I ran over to this place today that buys gold and silver, and I don't usually go to these types of places, but this place was recommended to me by someone that I know and trust, and so I went to check it out. And what I did was I brought this because I needed to find out if it was solid gold or just gold filled. This is a pocket watch that I got in a recent lot. It's a very, very old pocket watch, but someone had told me they thought it was gold by the way that it looked. And then I had a variety of some others. There's a wedding band right here. We've got this. This is what's called an iron cross, which was, I guess, the Prussian kingdom was where this was first maybe originated or primarily used. And then I think that in Nazi Germany, they used that during World War II as well, some. And well, anyways, what I discovered was that I brought about 12 rings in there. It turned out that 10 out of the 12 were either 14 karat or 10 karat gold. Whoopee, that was great. This one right here is 10 karat gold. This one's 14 karat gold. And I was very happy to learn that this case is in fact 14 karat solid gold, and that the chain, the fob, is 10 karat solid gold. So this has gone from what could have been just maybe $100 and $150 pocket watch, if it was not made of gold, is now likely going to be several hundreds and into the thousands of dollars because of the age of the pocket watch itself, the probably, I don't know how many grams of 14 karat gold, and then also the 10 karat gold. It's really nice. So I kept these. I'm going to sell them on my own. I did go in and got a check of $538 based on the other rings that I sold today, so not too bad for a little outing. Okay, folks, what we have here are a few items that came with this gigantic lot that I bought recently, but also a few others on the side here. Let's start off talking about golf clubs. So what we have right here are two, and these came in this gigantic lot, vintage, I mean very, probably technically antique golf clubs. It has leather wrapped, kind of handle here, the grip, so to speak, that is beginning to come unraveled, but it's still on there. And this is attached to what you can see here is a wooden shaft. This is how they were originally before they used metal. And this is a type of wood called hickory wood. And you can see they've really got it as it starts in that certain how it gets wider there. It's really cool how they made this. Now, the club head here on this iron has seen better days, clearly. It could be cleaned up, but people who collect these kinds of things a lot of times do not want you to clean them or mess with them, because this is the natural patina of age. And this particular one says FWC, or FW Clark rather, professional golf, custom made. That's the sweet spot right here by the heel, they say, right there. The Crow Flat Registered Patent Office. So this is very old, folks. This is probably a Spalding type brand or similar to that. In fact, let's pull this other one up here and take a look at it as well. It has a different look to it. This one right here, yeah, so you can see that Spalding and Bros, I think, and Brothers, yes. And up here, Crow Flat again. Okay, so this is a pretty high iron. I mean, look at that. This is probably like a 3 iron or something. But again, you got this nice wood, beautiful dark wood here coming to the grip. This grip is in worse condition, but it has a much longer grip than the traditional golf club nowadays. I mean, look how long that thing is. You could probably still hit this, but you'd probably snap it in half. But I only bring this to your attention to say that even these old clubs that no one's really going to use anymore still can have some very serious value with collectors who collect the old items. Golf is still a very popular sport with a lot of people, and you can certainly sell these. Certain brands go for more. Do your research, find out which brands, at least to know in your head when you're seeing these out there, and it'll help you decide whether or not, if you find one like this, it would be worth it to invest in. Speaking of golf clubs, since we're here, I brought a couple of these others out. I just wanted to show you, like, if you're willing to ship golf clubs and invest in them, I find these things at thrift stores all the time. Every one of these golf clubs right here that you're looking at cost me $1 at a thrift store. And we got some nice ones with some graphite shafts here. This one right here is it's a King Cobra. It's a driver. So these are drivers and woods. Irons, in general, putters, if they're in decent condition, can sell for really good money. Now, don't fret. I know what you're thinking. Like, well, golf clubs, what's an odd size? It'd be hard to ship it. It's really not, folks. If you have an account with the U.S. Postal Service, you can get boxes for free from them. And I didn't have the longest size available today. I need to reorder some, but I have these, and this is the same idea. They come flat, and then you fold them up into this triangular top cube. You could, they have larger ones that you could fit that in, or you could put one in this, right, and then take another one and put it up over the top of it and put it down on top. As an example, you can see I've put this golf club, this old one, down in here, and it still has some on the top, but you could take another box this size and flip it over and tape it. They don't mind as long as you're willing to pay for priority shipping. This ends up being about, I don't know, $14, something like that, which is not that bad for something that's such an odd size. Do not shy away from them, folks. People will pay for the shipping, and for $1, it's hard not to make profit on it. The same rule applies to swords. You can ship them in these tubes. It's free to get an account. You just sign up, and then they will send you boxes for free. Look at these swords that I got in this lot. This one right here, it's got this kind of interesting knot situation, almost like a snake on there. Let's unsheath this puppy. Take a look at her. You can see this kind of like a tooled leather scabbard here, and then this is what we're looking at. Now, this edge here is actually sharp. Okay, so it does say Pakistan on it. That's where it was made. This is a cheaper, kind of a novelty type sword in here. Then we've got this right here, which is an Asian kind of looking thing here. We got like a dragon and the handle. Got this little thing. This is a beautiful color, definitely kind of older sheath here for it. Again, let's pull this puppy out. Beautiful. It is not made to be sharp. This is clearly made just for decoration. You can see the edge of it is quite, I don't know if you can tell or not, but the edge of it is quite dull. But it's very long, and it's got a really pretty edge to it, as you can see there. This would be really nice as a display item for someone. And then we got these really strange ones. So this one's, the handle's really small and kind of odd, to be honest with you. It's got this kind of gold color in this brass. I guess it would be more like brass, kind of etched design, kind of a leather sheath here as well, out to a point that's kind of brass. Let's see if I can't hold this in my legs and pull it out for you and see a little bit more of it. And this is what she looks like. So this brass part kind of goes for a while, then it tapers off into the regular sword. This also is very dull. This is just a novelty thing, just kind of for show. Now look at this puppy. This thing is entirely carved wood. Look at this. Now, they originally had a sticker on it. Obviously, I got this in the lot, so they were going to try to sell it for $50. I don't know if I would be able to get that for it, but it is definitely interesting. And if I put my foot down here, try to get this out, show you. Can I? Can I get it out? All right, got it out finally. This is what she looks like. Look at that blade. Interesting piece, is it not? Not that heavy, kind of odd, kind of thick handle with sort of this really thin blade. And also, look at that. So again, I don't think that this at all was made to be used. All of these were made, I think, primarily to just for kind of show. Although this has been sharpened after it had been purchased. So, you know, it's possible that this was used as a tool for something. I doubt it was used for fighting or anything like that. But really cool. It's unusual. I've not seen one. I'll have to look it up. But anytime you can come across swords for like $20 or less, you're almost always bound to make some money on it because people buy these on eBay. Yes, on eBay. They will buy swords. Would you look at all of this that we're going to get into today. I have not looked through any of this. I simply pulled them out of these tubs and put it up on this tabletop so I can take a look. We're going to go through this together. It looks like 90% or more camera equipment, photography equipment, which is interesting. Let's try to jump in. I'm not going to spend a ton of time going through all of these and making you suffer through every little thing, but I do want to go through and just pick out a couple of things that I see here and sort of comment on that, just so maybe you'll come across with some general information that can help you. I will likely go into this in more detail at some other time, but here we go. What I see off the bat here are several full cameras. We've got right here a Nikkor mat, Nikkor mat. So this is like an old school Nikon, and Nippon here is something that you're going to see in early Japanese made things. They use that term a lot, and so that's something you'll see. What we have here is the Ambi Silhouette, and this looks like Agfa, A-G-F-A, and this was also customary in like the, goodness, really popular in like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, these leather cases that would hold on to these cameras. They're very heavy film cameras. We got the Voigtlander Besematic. That's Voigtlander's probably German or something like that, would be my guess, somewhere in that region. So these old cameras, depending on the age of them, the scarcity of them, and also what's going on, if they're functional, will determine the price. Some of them go for next to nothing. It's really difficult to tell. Some can sell for, you know, this is probably like $100, $150 camera. This Nikon one, or this one right here, this Nikon FG, this is more like a $250 camera, provided that it works and there isn't a bunch of mold or things like that inside of the lens. Definitely needs to be cleaned off. You know, I could sell this as is. I could sell the camera body by itself, sell the 50mm lens, prime lens by itself, and make some decent money that way as well. Okay, what else do we have here? I've noticed there's 3 of these. Let me pull this over here. And what you're looking at here are what they call, this is the Super Pilot. This one here is the Weston Master 2. And this one, if I can unzip it a little bit more to open her up, is the Brockway. And so what these all are, folks, let me get up a little higher so you can see what these are exposure meters or light meters. So this is going to do a calculation for you when you're out to determine the proper exposure and in aperture, so how much light you're going to let in, and the distance, and how to focus this correctly for your camera. And so these are all built in essentially to these newer digital cameras. But back then you had multiple apparatuses, sometimes flash bulbs, various things, and then various lenses, as well as the film itself. And these don't usually sell for a ton. You're looking at anywhere from $20 to $50 usually at the most for these vintage ones. I was excited to see this because you got the EOS 10D, and it's got this big old fat battery pack on the bottom of it, which is awesome. I don't know, you know, this is an older model. It is a digital camera, but it's an older model. Really kind of a cool setup here. I think that the person, again, I got this in the lot, all that stuff, they were going to try to sell it for $45. I bet I could actually go for more than that. Lenses are another thing. Well, look at this. What do we got here? Bausch & Lomb. It looks like. No. Did I read that on there? No, I read that somewhere else, I guess. We got, this will just take a 12-volt battery pack. Up here you got volume and squelch, whatever that is. I'll have to look that up. That's cool. United Bearcat. Some sort of a receiver thing. That's not a camera, obviously. But you got Nikon lenses, various lenses. Ooh, now this is a big deal here. This is cool. Okay, folks, what you're looking at here is something for, this is an older lens, and this is what they would call large format. So this is a lens that would go on something that would be, and you can see it says it's made in France. Some of these, depending on the manufacturers, can sell for hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. This is a U.S. one, so you would affix one side to a plate, like a wooden plate or another metal plate, and this was the type of photography you know in the olden days where they'd put the little. Essentially, what would happen there was you were just exposing light to a plate. You would cover up, you would just hold onto the cap. It was dark. When you didn't want light in it, you would take the cap off to allow light in for a certain amount of time, and then you put the cap back on it. And this is just a lens that's letting light through. Really cool. I'm going to have to do some research on, at least it has some information on it right here. New York. That's really cool. It's about the coolest thing I've seen so far because that's quite a bit older. A variety of lenses, guys. Canon lenses, Nikon lenses are good, but when you get into some of the old German or Austrian or some of these really Swiss, some of these different manufacturers that made really, really good lenses, those things can also sell for gobs. I will note as I'm coming along across, focusing hood. So this is like a, look at this. This is like a hood for a lens. And I don't know if maybe a lens, I wonder if one of these would fit. Got this right here. Yeah, look at that. I don't know if that is made for exactly for that, but you got this really cool looking lens. Exacto with a K. Dresden. Dresden is that town in Germany that was almost completely leveled during World War II by the Allies. What I was going to say is that these, I see I've got all of these things in the packaging, and this is really cool. People who collect this old stuff, don't throw the packaging away. Even if it's stained or damaged a little bit, you can get good value out of the packaging by itself. And that applies to a variety of things. Rings. We were talking about rings earlier. If you get a ring, let's say a vintage ring, in a little like vintage, ring case, don't throw that thing away. You can turn around and sell that case. Sometimes those things can sell for hundreds of dollars as well. So we got lenses, we've got camera bodies, we've got other assorted, filters and various things that go with the cameras as well. And then in here, it's looking like we've got even videography equipment as well. We've got an old RCA thing. This looks like, maybe early 2000s. Pull this thing up here. Look at this. Look at this puppy. What do we got here? It's a model CC6364. It doesn't say the year or anything on it though, but this is a 400-time digital zoom. Wow, okay, cool. And these original, in these cases that come with them, this one is marked $120. So I'm wondering what's in here that they thought that they could get such a good amount of money for it. Let's see. Ooh, another, and that's quite large. The Steady Shot. Fader, does it say a brand on it? I don't see a brand. Let's see if we can pull it out. The Handycam Video 8. Wow, look at that. Missing the battery pack, but maybe it's down in here. It's right there. Do you see it? Cool. I have to look that one up. How exciting. And then over here, this is not a camera. This is a illuminated magnifying glass stand. Look at that. You plug it in, it's got a light. You can see stuff underneath it. That's fun. Oh, Polaroid. Well, that's fun. I wonder if that... Let's see. Right over here. I don't think it's the same one, but there was a Polaroid camera that came in a different box that I pulled out. So I'm going to keep these together. I don't know if this still works, and I don't know if this is a brand new one. 1/600. I'll have to look that up. We've got a nice amount here, guys, just on this table. And this is just, I'm just spitballing here. I do not know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, we've got at least $1,000. Could be much more than that on this table at this moment. If these cameras are $100 a piece average, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 cameras sitting here. Lenses, let's just call them $40 a piece. We've got almost a dozen of those here. Great, great, great. Again, we paid $4,000 for the whole lot. Right here, we got maybe $1,000 to $1,500 just on this table. And we still got all this stuff left on these shelves and everywhere else. All right, folks, I did a quick little research on old T.H. McAllister in New York to find that he was an optician and a cane maker. And he did a variety of things, but he was an optician, and so he made lenses for things like photography, but also this could have been something from something called a magic lantern, which was sort of like predated cinema and things. They would take images of things, and they would do a process to put them on glass. And so you'd see this image, you'd be kind of seeing through it because it was transparent, but you would see an image on there, almost like it was etched. And they would take this little canister, they'd fill it with kerosene, and they put these little wicks, and they'd light that. So it was making fire, it was making light in a little location. And they had these tiny little chimneys, these metal boxes, that would let the heat and everything and the smoke escape, but it lit up the internal side of this box, and that light would then pass behind and through these glass plates that they would slide into place, and then the image would go through this lens up onto a wall or something, and so people could see. It was almost like a slide. It was literally a slideshow, but they were using fire to make light as a part of it. And this is a really cool lens. If you see it like this little toggle right here, you can actually turn one way or the other, and it will make this part in the middle go further left or further right, and that was for focusing. So really cool piece. One that's in brass. Is fully brass, is up for sale for in the $500–600 range on eBay right now. But this is what they would consider, and I'm going to butcher the name, a Petzval lens, P-E-T-Z-V-A-L, a Petzval lens, and definitely really old. So that company was manufacturing these things from roughly the 1840s until down into the 1880s. So this is probably like an 1850s to 1870s device. And someone was really creative here with putting lens caps on it from tennis balls made in England. Couple more really cool historical little items here. And guys, this is why I love selling antiques and collectibles so much. The collectability is, people buy things because they're collectible, but I don't care about the collectability. I mean, obviously that's what helps me sell things, but the fact that these things are old and they served a purpose, and you get to imagine who had them and where they got them, how they made them, that kind of stuff is what I find the most interesting. But anyhow, what we have here are a couple of rolling pins. I want you to guess by looking at these which one you would say is older. Which one do you think is older? If you guessed this one right here, you would be right. This one is a little bit newer. It has a new type of technology, like a revolving handle. Oh my goodness, it makes it so much easier. Listen to that creaking. She needs to be oiled up a little bit, but we have this this old wooden pin here. It's solid wood. I don't know what kind of wood, but a cheaper wood. But we got these red colored handles here screwed in there, and they rotate. That is what it is. These older rolling pins can sell for decent amounts of money. I'll get back to that in a moment. Let's talk about this one. This one's cool because it is a solid piece of wood. If you look right here, you'll see where, come on now, zoom in for me, puppy. There we go. You'll see right here, folks, where this has been like basically scratched out, believe it or not. And by scratched out, I mean it's been carved. So this has not been stained. It's a regular piece of wood. The stains you're looking at here are from use. They're just the wood absorbing stuff over time. You can see some of these little knots here that they're still kind of bumpy. They're uneven. Okay, it's not perfectly flat. And you can see there's a hole here on the end, on that end. And then if I flip her over without dropping it, you'll see a hole there. What I believe happened is that they put this on a lathe. All right, they put a tip here, a tip here. They were able to probably hand crank this lathe to spin it, and then they took a chisel or things and they carved. It's possible they just used a wood chisel to begin with. Maybe they put a line around it, like, well, this is roughly where we want to stop, and then they chipped around and they carved it out. But this is old school, folks. This is like an old school Appalachian you know, rolling pin. Really cool. Who knows what kinds of foods were prepared with this thing, but just because it's old and it's cookware doesn't mean it's not valuable. The most valuable ones on eBay right now that are rolling pins are the ones that are actually like a ceramic middle with advertising on them. So if you ever find one with wood handles, but a ceramic, it's a little bit thicker, it's ceramic, and it has advertising, those things can sell for hundreds of dollars. All right, the last thing up today, folks, look at this old goober. Let me just really let you take it in, what we're looking at here. Look at this. Look at this guy. He's got his sword. He's got his spear, I guess. He's just a weird, some might call him ugly or bizarre sculpture here. Out of copper, primarily, it looks like. Sure, he's a little ugly. He's gobbledygook. He got his mustache. But if you look real close, you're going to find some other interesting things. If you zoom in here, this is like a person's figure. Here's a leaf. It looks like an owl. Here's another leaf. Come down, and you've got various other contraptions here. Let's turn this puppy over. Look over here. Same situation. You've got a little girl up here with like a little tutu. You got another person turned this way holding on. And here's a person's head right there. A person climbing up with his arms and legs. Here's another. He's holding on to that guy's leg. He's holding on to this. There's a hand. All these different little things going on here, folks. Look at all these. It's like people climbing up the legs. I've never seen anything like it. Right here, you got a person, an artist's name, but I can't make out what it says. I don't know what it is. I don't want to have to polish that and ruin the patina on it, but I'm not sure what I should do. But have any of you ever seen one like this? Does anybody have an idea what this might be or who might have made it? This thing could be worth almost very little to nothing, but it could be worth a lot. I just don't know. It's definitely a piece of art. It's unique. I've never seen one like it. It's pretty cool. Gonna keep looking, but folks, we still got gobs of cool stuff to go through in all of this. We appreciate you sticking around. Hopefully you learned something. Rusty, rusty, rusty how to. Rusty, rusty, rusty how to. Rusty, rusty.